give me your perspective on DEI, and because based on what I heard earlier, I feel like you don't think I belong here
Oh, really?
because of
Why?
how I am a black man, and because of DEI, I'm not qualified enough
Are
to
you?
be here. Yes, I
Okay,
am,
great. Then you
but
belong.
All right. So I usually don't obviously post this type of content on my YouTube page, but I just felt like I had to, especially with what's going on. And for those that don't know, Charlie Kirk, which is the guy with the blue suit talking, he's basically goes around talking to college students and college campuses and universities, and he's on the right side, right, like a Republican. Basically, you would say like the Ned Flanders of the Republicans. He's very moderate, and he was assassinated recently. And I was, thinking of maybe I shouldn't make the video, but I just felt inclined because basically, like what it entails is just the future of America and like the way that things are right now. It's pretty bad, especially with the political violence and the tolerant left, right? They preach about being tolerant and blah blah blah, but yet they're the ones that cause the most violence because you don't agree with them. And this is, in my opinion, it could set a it sets a bad precedent, especially now, because it just means like if someone that is so non-violent, someone that just goes and debates and just wants to hear someone else's opinion and just for talking, like he got killed for that. Like that shouldn't be a thing. We have the here in the states we have the freedom of speech, and it's terrible what happened because obviously I watch his content. I think he does a great service, or at least he did. Right, obviously since he's no longer with us. Speaking to a lot of these young kids because I do believe that especially the way things are now in college campuses and universities, they do like brainwash a lot of these kids. And I mean, you might not agree with what he says. People might not agree with him, but it's not bad the way I see it. Trying to push people so they get closer to God. So people can get married and not just have relationships. Because later on, people end up having a bunch of kids, and then if you don't have you're both parents and while growing up, that's gonna cause issues. He would also talk about being respectful to the country. Love the country here, because I mean I wasn't even born here in the United States of America. I ended up getting U.S. citizenship many years after, but I was basically raised here since I was basically almost a toddler. And many people come into this country, and a lot of people don't. A lot of people end up, they try, but they end up, they die in the process of trying to cross illegally. So I mean, there's nothing wrong with being proud of the country, especially such a great country that people literally risk their life to get into because of all the opportunities that this country can give you. And he obviously did have some controversial takes that some people might not agree with, like abortion. That's a thing where some people, will agree with it or go against it. But overall, I mean, the man was just a proponent of free speech. I mean, that was the whole platform. Is you could get invited, while you're at the event, and then you could debate him, right? But everything was peaceful, and for that he was pretty much killed. And I think a lot of people right now are obviously devastated, and you got some crazy, lunatics on the left that are celebrating it, which I'm not gonna really talk about that. I just think like that's obviously despicable. Like you're not right in the head if you're happy that this man died because what did he do? All he did was speak, And I think a lot of people that are calling him, all these names, they don't even watch his content. They don't even bother watching his actual content. They just probably regurgitate what the news says. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. I honestly, I think he would want people to still debate and not be afraid because of what happened to him. You know, don't let what happened to him like instill fear in a lot of Americans where they feel like they're threatened now, and they're scared to just continue exercising their freedom of speech. And my condolences definitely goes out to his family. Uh, the guy was 31 years old, very young man. I mean, I'm 30 and he's 31, and he already, he's no longer with us, and he had a wife and he had two young children, which is definitely a tragedy. But I think we have to see this also in a way where we can't back down and not just be afraid to speak our mind, because that's what America is all about. And that's one of the reasons why the forefathers came into this country. They wanted to break away from England, and they wanted their own rights. And it would be a damn shame if we were all afraid to just exercise our rights because of this. And we definitely got to keep things peaceful, because I don't think he would definitely wouldn't want to see America to hate each other and be violent against each other. And with that being said, I'm gonna have a couple clips about him so you can see for yourself what type of person he was.
I've seen what people have done to me and people who look like me around the world and around in America.
How? Again, you are, let's just make an example. You are here in the wealthiest country ever,
Yes.
at an amazing university, with all the opportunity imaginable in front of you. And all you want to do is look backwards at everything that prevented you, when you are a glaring example that there is no systemic racism and you can actually achieve your wildest dreams. Let me tell you what I believe, and maybe you might actually agree with it, because I think you do. What we believe as conservatives is that skin color really doesn't matter that much. We care about character and merit. We want a country built on what you bring to the table, not how you look.
So when you mention about discriminating against whites, of course, I don't agree with that.
Well, that is DEI, just so we're clear.
Right, and I'm going to say it again.
Cool, all right.
DEI was created to offset racism. We left it up to majority of white America to include people of color or qualifying credentials. They would not. So my argument is that you're saying it's reverse racism. My argument is that it needed to be there to counteract racism. Sounds like we need to find a different solution for both parties.
I have a great solution. Stop talking about race all the time. Race doesn't mean anything. Because I look at you not as a black guy, but as a human being made in the image of God, and I want to know what you bring to the table. Are you good at the job? Are you better than your competitor? Because let me just pause for a second. I just want you to hear out what we believe. Is that when you talk about race all the time, you start to resegregate society based on tribes, and you lose this idea of e pluribus unum, all made in the image of God, out of many one. And yes, we have made many mistakes in our past, but we were getting closer as a country in my childhood as being not obsessed with race. We've become more race obsessed over the last 10 years, especially the last 5 years. I go around universities and have challenging conversations, and because that's what is so important to our country, is to find our disagreements respectfully, because when people stop talking, that's when violence happens.
I've never seen someone do this.
Well, it's a growing trend because people like me are facing violence, assault, the left. Yes, the campus Antifa. I've been stormed out of restaurants. I've been assaulted publicly, multiple death threats.
Okay, so what's your goal in all this?
There's more people that agree with me than some people would actually believe, and they come out of the woodwork when I do stuff like this. We record all of it so that we put on the internet so people can see these ideas collide. When people stop talking, that's when you get violence. That's when civil war happens, because you start to think the other side is so evil and they lose their